Brett Okamoto with ESPN, joined by UFC lightweight Dan Hooker. We are at the W Hotel in lovely Abu Dhabi, and you've been here a little bit. I mean, we were just talking off camera. We're not sure how long we've been here because it just all kind of blurs into one. But you've been here a while. How you holding up?
No, like it's good. Time is going fairly quickly. Like usually, time in the hotels kind of drags on and the days drag on. But for some reason, this is going pretty smooth. I just think it's probably how smooth everything's running here. You know, this is the third show on Fight Island, and it's just money. Like the food arrives at the door.
Yep.
Everything's taken care of. You go here, you go here, you go here, and it's just like the machine is operating pretty much flawlessly. So I think that's helping all of the time just fly by.
How are you? What's the time sort of structure for you? Are you working out like in the middle of the night, or you like? Cause your fight will be kind of early morning hours here, right? So what was your kind of thinking in terms of what your schedule should be?
Yeah, like I usually just do. When I first got here, just because I got here so early, I got here with a week and a half to go. I wanted to, just my body felt like continuing to push pretty much. So when I landed, I was still doing 2 trainings a day, just one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and just getting that fitness. And not even because I needed to build on any fitness or maintain any fitness. I just felt like my body needed to fire. Like I just wanted to work out. But since Monday, we've just cut down to one session at the time we're fighting. So I think it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock that we'll be getting inside the cage. So that's the time that we're banging out a session, and I've just been full of energy. It feels quite good coming over here nice and early.
Yeah, and the energy just around this week, I feel like, is pretty high, especially in your division, obviously. I mean, you did have Max do his thing, and he's a featherweight technically, but, you know, there's always that chance that he could be in the lightweight picture. And you got a Khabib decision, you know, on Saturday, and you got Conor arriving in the yacht, and you got Michael Chandler coming over from the new promotion. Like for you being sort of in the middle of all that, like, are you kind of following those storylines? Is it exciting for you, or like do you not really pay attention to any of it? How do you take all that?
Oh, I'm definitely, you know, first and foremost, I'm a fan of the sport myself, so I'm sitting there and watching it all happen. So it's giving me energy, and I see the buzz. You know, Khabib saying that you put an impressive performance. Main event or co-main event might get a title shot. You know, I was already excited about being on the card, a McGregor card. There's extra hype that comes with that. The Poirier fight, him being here. Michael Chandler, the new guy as well. So it's just, there's so much going on. Like it's just keeps going, keeps building. Like it's going strength to strength.
Yeah, well, it's good that you're excited about all of it. And we don't need to get completely into this because I think everybody who's sort of been following this fight week knows what your situation is. That, you know, then because of the quarantine issues in New Zealand, that you don't get to start that until February 21st. So you're going to be away from your family for quite a while until March. But one thing I was curious about is that after the fight, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
It's kind of I'm kind of just doing a throwback to my old ways. Like I used to just pack my bag and travel off and live out of a suitcase, and I used to enjoy that lifestyle. You know, that's so it's kind of taking me back to early on in my career when you just travel, train, and go with the flow. If you know what I mean. That's something I enjoy. One of the best things I heard was a good traveler doesn't plan his journey. Yeah. So it's just that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm
really
getting out. There's not many people that are even getting out of. Well, no one I know in New Zealand that anyone else is, besides like Israel and the other boys that have been able to get outside of New Zealand and travel and train. So for me to be able to come to a new place, the UAE, where things are under control, like they're fairly under control here. You know, vaccinations are getting rolled out. It's quite safe here. For me to be able to come over here and experience the culture of somewhere I've never been before, I'm viewing it as an opportunity.
So really on Sunday when they kick all the UFC people out, like you're just going to have a bag with you and you don't know where you're going, or where are you going?
I don't know.
You don't know where you're going.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I'm going to float around gyms. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where the good training is.
There's
Abu Dhabi. There's Dubai. There's other smaller cities which I wouldn't mind checking out. So it's got to be nothing but fun.
Wow. And you're doing it by yourself, right? Or your coach is going to stick around with you?
Yeah, we're all stuck.
Oh, you're all stuck. Okay, good. Yeah.
A lot of us are stuck. Me and 2 of my cornermen. So I have people at least I can train with and keep me busy.
All right, good. At least you got some comment. I'm picturing like you walking down the street of like Abu Dhabi with your thumb out or something.
If I was by myself. myself. That's about as well as I would plan things.
Well, and then of course when you go home, you got the 14-day quarantine in New Zealand, and I wanted to go back to the last time you had to do that, the 14-day quarantine after you fought Dustin, and it just seems like you've been talking this week about you have a completely new mindset about mixed martial arts, like you completely reinvented and changed, how what your approach is and what you want to get out of it, and a lot of that boils down to you were in exciting fights, you were putting on fights for the fans, you were looking for $50,000 bonuses, and after that Poirier fight, you thought, maybe that you needed to redirect some of your focus. Did that happen in that 14-day quarantine? I mean, when you go home and you're away from your family and you got nothing but time to reflect on a fight, and it was one in which you came up short, like is that sort of the time that kind of process started?
That's definitely like a hyperbolic time chamber when you're stuck in that place. There's nothing but you, and there's nothing but you and a mirror, and you have to really do some deep digging and some true self-reflection. But it comes down to what do you want to be out of this? What do you want out of the sport? What do you want to be known for the sport? And when I was a kid, I wanted to just be known as a finisher, an exciting fighter. But now it's, when I'm this close to my ultimate goal, which is being world champion, what do you want to be? I want to be known as the best. I want to be known as a world champion. So you can't just go in there and look to finish. Obviously, finishes happen along the way, but it's going out there and proving I'm the best. The finishes will come, and it's something that I won't force, but I'm going out there to outskill and outclass my opponents.
What do you think is like the biggest actual change then? Like when we're watching you, or like when you're preparing for this fight, is it like, are you working defensively? Are you working like shot selection more? Is it like what actually changes when you're kind of tinkering with that process?
It's I just feel like everything I've been working on for the past years has fallen into place in this last camp, or with that mental switch, with that true change in approach, everything is falling into place. So everything, I only truly moved to full-time to City Kickboxing when I moved back to New Zealand, and that was the Ross Pearson fight. So it's not that long that I've been working under the system there, under the coaches, and we can see the results there. You see that from, the skill set of Israel Adesanya. So all those skills that I've been learning since I've been at City Kickboxing, from my coaches there, from my training partners, I feel like all that skill is falling into place. And it's from the performances that my teammates have put on. Alex Volkanovski, he showed an incredibly composed performance. That was the true thing that clicked for me, the incredibly composed performance he put on against Max Holloway, where he was, those first 2 rounds didn't go his way. Things were going down. If you would put me into that situation, right at that point, I would have just bit down and been like, oh, well, let's try to get him out of it. Let's go guns blazing. Like, I'm losing. Let's go guns blazing. Let's do something. Let's try and knock this guy out. But Alex didn't. He fought it a lot smarter than that. He fought it a lot more composed than that. And he went back out there. He stayed composed. He stuck to the game plan. And he managed to pick up the victory, win the next 3 rounds, and retain his world title. So that is incredible composure. Even going back and looking at the Israel Adesanya's fight with Yoel Romero, that's a big one that I take a look. People can look in there and say whatever they want to say. He's the world champion, and he showed a championship level of composure. I don't have that composure. If Yoel Romero was standing there and doing nothing, I would chase after him and try to take his head off. That's just in my nature, or was in my nature and my approach. So I had to learn from my teammates. See, I've been in the UFC longer than Israel and longer than Alex. They're both world champions. So I had to address why I've been in the UFC a lot longer than them and still not reach that same level. So it takes some true, you have to, if you're going to do that kind of reflection, it has to be real, and you have to shatter your ego. You can't just be like, oh, it's just, things didn't go my way, or I had a finished Poirier in the second round. Next time I'll just go like, you're not going to truly learn and truly evolve from it, which I feel like I have, because I did pull all that ego away, and I was truly honest with myself, and true self-reflection is the only way that you're going to lead to any kind of improvement.
That's super insightful, man. And if you are fighting the way that you want to and utilizing your skills the way you want to against Michael Chandler, do you think he will turn into a wrestler in there? I mean, how much do you think wrestling is going to be a part of this fight?
Oh, he needs to wrestle.
Yeah.
He needs to wrestle. He needs to wrestle. He needs to put me on my back. That's one thing about it. He cannot just stand in front of me and kickbox with me. That is, in my mind, not an option. I feel like he's too limited of an opponent if he sticks to that skill set. Obviously there's the chance of him catching a wild shot or something like that, but I'm saying in terms of technique and skill set, he needs to mix things up. He needs to mix up the striking and the wrestling if he's going to find any kind of success.
Couple more, and I know that this might be something that it is something that you just won't know until you get in there with him. But when you look at him, he's a big, strong guy. Do you expect him to be a power puncher? Like what type of expectations do you have in terms of how hard this guy's going to hit?
Everyone's a power puncher. Everyone's a power. You put those little rubber you'll put them on, and it's like a tire rubber on your hands. It's purely to protect your hand. It's not to protect anyone's face. There's not a man in the world that I would stick, or woman. Would you let someone put those on? Stick your hand in the air and let one of the people at reception hit you in the chin. Yep. You wouldn't. So everyone has power. Everyone has knockout power. So what is knockout power? You know what I mean? So the object of the game is to not get hit by Michael Chandler in this fight. That's the true objective in this fight.
I like that plan. That's a smart game plan. Good one. So last thing for me, do you in your heart think that there is a scenario in which you can fight Khabib? Like, do you think, like, based on, like, the announcement was from Dana, and he says Khabib wants to be impressed, and do you think that is an option for you? Like, do you think you could get that opportunity against Khabib?
I'm not letting myself get distracted by that. I can feel that there's something big that's going to come from a win over Michael Chandler. That's all I could truly feel. Whether that be anything. This is such a crazy sport. Like, anything could happen. Let's say Poirier-McGregor is a draw. Yeah. Then they have to rematch. Let's say I knock Michael Chandler out. Well, then that's pretty hard to deny. There's no true, clear contender. So it's an incredible sport. Anything can happen, but it's hard for me to let myself get distracted by that kind of thing when I have Michael Chandler. He's one of the best lightweights in the world sitting in front of me. So I have a big point to prove against one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the fight, and I'm also looking forward to finding out what you do after the fight, bro. When there's no plans, just a suitcase and a month to kill.
Well, when I used to do it, I didn't own a phone, so that's why I was probably a bit harder to track down.
Yeah. Well, we'll be following your Instagram account after the fight, man. Best of luck. Thank you for the time, Dan. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.